What's going on, guys? We are back with the B8 S4 sweepstakes car, and as you can see, it looks a lot different from when we started. But we're gonna put some finishing touches on, and we've got a ton of great products here from Griots, and Rod came all the way out from Maryland, and he's gonna help us give the last detail on this car with all of these awesome products. So Rod, tell us what you got here and tell us what we're gonna be doing today to get this car cleaned up.
Awesome, Andrew, thanks a lot for having me out here. It's great to have this partnership with you guys, so I appreciate you inviting me out to go over the car for the final touches. So what we were gonna do is we already talked about what's been done to the car, and we know that it's been properly cleaned, and we've gone through a clay process. I think before you had the vinyl put on there, the paint was kind of dialed in, so we don't have to really do any of that. That's already been done for us. And I know that we just kind of took this for a little test drive for lunch, so I don't know if I should divulge that, but the cool thing is that there's just a little bit of surface dirt on there. It's not too horrendous. So I think what we're gonna do is, instead of doing a conventional wash mitt and a car wash type concentrate like we have here, we can get away with using our Boss foam cannon and our foaming surface wash. This is gonna be a great combination to lay down some super thick snow foam on there and get that finish nice and clean, and then work all the dirt off there without having to scrub it really hard. That's gonna get the body and the surface of the vehicle clean, but what we're gonna start with first is gonna be our wheels and tires. So what we have here is our traditional wheel cleaner, and that's exactly what we call it, wheel cleaner. This is actually BBS wheel approved, so you know that wheel manufacturer, very high-end wheel company. We love this product, completely safe for any wheel. Powder coated, chrome, polished, anodized, it does not matter. Perfectly safe. And so is our HD wheel cleaner, so I could use that on those wheels as well. And that's actually a pH neutral product.
So then are you gonna do any scrubbing with that wheel cleaner, or does it kind of really just depend on how much grime, once again, like what we were talking about with the scrubbing?
That's exactly right. So it really depends, just like we talked about the surface of the car. If your gut tells you, hey, there's a lot of dirt on there, it might be good to kind of agitate that. And we wanna make sure that we use good wash mitts or brushes dedicated just for those wheels, okay? I don't wanna use a wash mitt on my wheel, then drag it back up to the surface of the car, all right? So what I'll also follow up with is what's called our foaming tire cleaner. This is one of my personal favorite products that we just brought out not too long ago. I love this stuff. You can literally spray it on there, foams up, and just within seconds, you can see the browning off the sidewall just starting to run down the tire. And because we have these beautiful white lettering that you guys had done on the tires here, it's gonna brighten those up as well, and it's not gonna damage any of the wheel, not gonna hurt the paint whatsoever. Once we're done with the wash and we're about ready to kind of dry the vehicle, we're gonna use our PFM drying towel right here. This is gonna be something that, if nobody's seen this in action, it's hard to see on camera, but up close and personal, those of you that have used this towel, you know what I'm talking about. It's one of my personal favorites. It'll hold an average of 6 to 8 pounds of water. I mean, I could probably dry 3 cars this size and never have to wring this towel out. It's awesome. So once we're done, we've dried it, we've used our PFM drying towel, and the surface is nice and clean and dry, we're gonna come back with our ceramic 3-in-1. And this is a really unique product. This is our first kind of introductory into the ceramic kind of coating world, if you want to say. And when we say ceramic 3-in-1, what does that mean? So for us, it's SiO2, that is the core ingredient that provides that ceramic protection. And then the other 2 ingredients are going to be a polymer and a carnauba wax. So we have 3 levels of protection in one product that are going to give you the best gloss, the best shine, and the best durability in just about any environment. After we're done with our ceramic 3-in-1, our Speed Shine here, which is really one of our most popular spray detailer products, this has kind of been around since the infancy of Griots Garage, and we used to say it's the best 5-minute detail in a bottle. What's unique about this is I can use this for just about any situation where I've got a little bit of dust, fingerprints, maybe I've got my ceramic 3-in-1 on there and it's sitting in my garage, I got a little bit of dust on there. I can either blow it off with an air hose or whatever, or I can come back with this and one of our plush blue microfibers here and just wipe down the entire vehicle, and the paint is beautiful again, right there. And it's also a great clay lubricant as well.
So this is mainly gonna be for maintenance after we're fully done. We gave it a good wash. Now it's been a week. We took it out for one drive maybe. It's just been sitting in the garage getting dust. We're gonna use that on it for a car show or something.
That's correct, and that's just a light mist on, wipe off, you're done. Looks beautiful again.
Awesome.
Okay.
So you're the pro, and I've got a question for you. I see our window cleaner here, and I'm always getting streaks on my window. So tell me what the secret is for a streak-free window.
Wow, that's the magic question right there. So, as a former detailer myself, and I still kind of tinker with some cars to kind of practice my trade more or less. So for me, what's always worked is I always want to make sure that before I do my glass, my windows, is that my hands are clean. So think about all the chemicals you've been using up to that point for a full detail. Tire dressings, waxes, polishes, interior cleaners. And if you don't go rinse your hands off, you have a lot of oils and all those chemicals on there as well. So I want to get my hands clean first. And then I want to pick a good quality glass cleaner, or what we call window cleaner. And this is completely free of any dyes, fragrances. It's got some isopropyl alcohol and some other ingredients in there. But the secret is that the quality glass cleaner that's especially designed to be safe for window tint, that's important. I don't want to use household glass cleaners that have ammonia in them. That'll void my warranty of my tint, turn them purple, things like that. So clean hands, quality glass cleaner, and then also I want to pick a nice towel. So we've got a really cool towel that we use for windows. And this is our PFM glass cleaning towel. We call it our ultra premium microfiber towel, and we call it a dual weave towel. What's unique is if you look at the two different sides here, we've got kind of a terry weave on one side, that's our microfiber side. And this is what I start with to do my initial wipe. So I get all my corners, I box the window out, then I come back and get the middle part of the glass. And then I flip it over and use this nice satin side. So this
is like very silky.
Very silky. It's going to do my final wiping, my polishing, if you want to call it that. And it's not going to leave any streaks, and it's not going to lint on me. So this is really nice. Even though this towel is pretty small, this will do an entire car's windows and mirrors inside and out. It's really neat. And the leather, as we took it out for lunch earlier, I was noticing how clean that leather was. It was in really great shape. So my personal preference is our leather 3-in-1 spray. This is a phenomenal product. And all I can say is if just the smell alone doesn't wow you over and win you as a fan of this product, the fragrance of this just smells like fresh, clean leather when you get in your vehicle once you're done using it. But it's also, the 3-in-1 is a cleaner, a conditioner, and a preservative. So what's nice is I can get 3 different things out of this one product. Very, very easy to use, and I can just use this like not like a spray detailer per se, but I can mist it onto my towel or onto the surface that I'm working with, wipe it in. It's gonna pull off any of that grime that you don't want, and I can leave it there for a little bit, let it kind of soak into that leather. It's gonna condition it, and it's gonna protect it as well.
Awesome, so what do you say, Rod? Are we ready to dive in and start washing?
I'm ready. Let's take this thing over to the wash bay and get going on it.
All right, let's do it.
All right, thanks. Andrew, I think what we'll do is we're gonna start with this one wheel and tire first, and I'm gonna go ahead and take this aero disc cover off. That way we can get back to the wheel itself and give it a good, proper cleaning. Just gonna pop this off. I'll lay this over to the side. And we're gonna take our wheel cleaner. This is the wheel cleaner we talked about earlier. It's BBS approved. It's a phenomenal product. And because the wheel itself is in not really bad condition, I mean, it's relatively clean. We could have probably just used some soap and water, but I think this is gonna be more than adequate. And so what I'll do is I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna spray this from the bottom up, okay? Even though it's safe, we wanna make sure we always start from the bottom up, and if we have any streaking going on, it won't tend to be severe. We can stop at that one wheel. I'm gonna get it back inside the barrel there as well, a nice ample amount of product. So that's gonna take care of the wheel itself. I'll let that sit. It's a great pH neutral product. It's not gonna damage the wheel at all. And then I'm gonna take our foaming tire cleaner. This is a great product just for the tire itself. Just a light shake, and I'm gonna take and just follow around that wheel, or the tire I should say. And just within a matter of seconds, if the camera can pick it up, you might see a little bit of browning going on here. And what that's doing is it's getting some of that what's called tire blooming off, and that's where the compounds in the rubber will come to the surface through heat and aging of that tire, and it'll get to the surface, and that's where the tire turns brown. So this is actually breaking that down. It's getting all that brown out of there. It's brightening up our letters. I'll let that sit for maybe another 10 seconds. Then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna rinse that off. And I'll do each wheel and tire the same way. It'd be great if we can get up inside the wheel well there, but I know that these are in great shape, so if we had a nice little brush to get up in there, that would also be something I would do as well. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse this off. Set my products off to the side here. Okay, so that one's all done. We're gonna do each wheel and tire the same way. What I'm gonna go ahead and do though is I'm gonna put the cover back on. We can do that now, or we can do it at the very end and do all 4 at the same time. Whatever's easier. Just pop that on there. Helps to put that in the right position. So I have an option of either A, washing this with our wash that we would use on the body of the vehicle, or I can come back with our wheel cleaner as well. This is perfectly safe for that. You can see it's kind of breaking some of that dirt down right there. See all that dirt just running right off of that? And that's our road grime from taking it out for its test drive. About maybe 30 seconds is all the time I would need for that. I'm just going to rinse that off. And that's perfectly clean. So now that we have all of our wheels and tires done, they're nice and clean, we're gonna go ahead and start working on the body of the vehicle. I wanna make sure that we've got our foaming surface wash here, that's ready to go. And the options that we have is I can do one of two different things. I can either take this and screw it directly onto the threads of this 35-ounce bottle, which is great, or I can pour the product right into the container. You can buy additional containers and have either our surface wash or our other foaming surface products that we can utilize in separate containers. What I like to do is go ahead and pour this straight in here. So what's kind of nice is I don't have to add water to this. And why is that? It's mainly because the system we have that's called Auto Mix, this surgical grade tube with the stainless steel ball on the end, we've got these 3 tips sitting right here. And we're gonna start with the purple one because that is designed for the electric pressure washer. The pink would be for gas, and the aqua is for anything that you just want insane amounts of foam. Sometimes I'll go for the aqua, but in this case, just for demonstration purposes, we're gonna take the purple tip, and there's a little hole in the bottom of the ball. We're just gonna pop that right inside there. And that tip has a certain size hole, and that is what regulates the amount of concentrate that is drawn up through the hose with the wand and the water through the pressure washer. So we'll just tighten that up nice and snug. Now we're gonna take this, we're gonna pop it right onto our pressure washer wand. There we go. So we've also got an adjustment nozzle here that I can get about a 40-degree fan spray. We've got a knob on top that will regulate my amount of concentrate or water so I can add more or less accordingly. So what I'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and start, and I'm gonna work from the roof down. I just want to get it working first and kind of get my foam dialed in. We come back. So now that we've done our full wash on it, we did a final rinse. We're gonna come back and dry it. I mean, the surface has already got a nice kind of a hydrophobic look to it. You can see the water kind of sheeting off on its own, which is a great thing. We're gonna take our PFM drying towel, and for those of you that don't know what PFM stands for, as corny as it may sound, it means pure frickin' magic. So watch this towel in action. This thing's pretty cool. So we're just gonna take it, and for the windshield, I'm just gonna go ahead and just drape it over the glass. I'm gonna pull it right to myself, just the weight of the towel. It's gonna suck all that water right off there. I'm gonna finish up the other part of the glass here. And I'm gonna come back and do the hood. Just pull the towel to yourself. And what's nice is the weight of that towel just pulls all the water off without rubbing it, scratching it, and causing any damage to the surface. All right, Andrew, so we're all done. I mean, we got it washed, we dried it, and what's kind of neat about the PFM drying towel is that because in theory, we just dried a clean car, that rinse water was all clean, this towel in theory is really not dirty, so I can let this either A, air dry this, or I can pop it in the dryer for about 5 or 10 minutes, and I'm ready to go. So now that we've got everything washed and dried, and it's all clean, and the surface is in great shape, we're gonna go ahead and start with our ceramic 3-in-1. This is extremely easy to use, just as easy to use as any kind of a spray detailer. All I need to do is take a nice art towel, which is our blue plush microfiber. This is super soft and it's not gonna scratch the paint. And to use this, all I need to do is a light mist, okay? It doesn't take a lot. Just a light surface mist to the finish. I'm gonna take my towel, I'm gonna get a nice, good, easy grip on here. I'm gonna, in one direction only, go back and forth. I'm gonna wipe it in linear motion. I'm gonna cover every surface or portion of that hood. I'm gonna come back to the side that's nice and dry, and I'm gonna come back and follow the same pattern. Same pressure, same passes, and the product's gonna start to flash off, okay? What I wanna do is I wanna do the entire car this way. Now, as I'm using this product, you're gonna get your towel more saturated with the ceramic 3-in-1. So what I recommend is those two sides that you started with, you can flip it over. You have two fresh sides that haven't been used yet, and then the inside of the towel, you have a whole other side that's nice and dry. So you have 8 sides of this towel that can carry you around the car pretty far. If you feel that the sides of the towels are getting too damp, you don't want to over apply the product, so that's where it might be good to have a few extra towels set up off to the side that you can come back and start working with. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of the car here. Do the other side of the hood, just a light mist. And this is perfectly fine for both the painted surfaces, of course, as well as the vinyl graphics that we have on here. So again, nice and even pressure. Not rubbing too hard, just an even spread of the product. Flip it over and follow the same path. Definitely would avoid trying to wear watches. If you have a watch band that's got a metal band on it, take that off. You know, if you're worried about your ring scratching, make sure you take your ring off or put some gloves on. So the hood's done. So I'm gonna do the entire car this way, and what's nice is if I let this sit for about 24 hours, I don't wash it, don't introduce any water or rain to it, and I let this cure for about 24 hours, I can get about 6 months protection out of that one application. If I come back after 24 hours, put one more coat on here, max will be 2 coats, I can get about 9 months of protection out of those 2 applications, which is phenomenal in a product like this. Andrew, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to the interior, and since the interior on this is really in great shape, I mean, you guys have done a great job getting it clean and kind of brought up to the condition it's in. Our interior cleaner is one of my personal favorites. It's awesome for going after, whether it's an interior like this that just needs a little bit of touch up, or I've got an interior that's got some pretty heavy soiled areas. Maybe my cup holders are just covered with all kinds of grime and things like that. Free of dyes, free of fragrances, perfectly safe. What I'll do is instead of spraying this over the dash, I'll just spray it onto my towel. And we've got our dual weave interior towel here, which is really nice. So I can just take this, I'm gonna work it up into the dash, wipe it over, just section by section, and it won't leave any kind of weird residue behind. It's just fresh and clean. Wipe everything down, and I'm gonna work my way down through the steering wheel. I'll just apply a little bit more on here. Okay, I wanna get all edges and sides, front and back of that steering wheel. There's so much grime sometimes on these that most people tend to miss the back of it, where your fingers are and maybe you're eating, you got food or makeup on there, that'll take all that right off. Okay, and we've got some really great brushes if you need those as well to get into those nooks and crannies. So I can just wipe everything down. My towel does not have to be oversaturated. I can just kind of chase down all these different surfaces, wipe them down, get them nice and clean. And once I've done that, I'll just switch over to this other side. It's more of our microfiber side. We've got the 2 sides there, and I can come back and just do another follow-up, wipe over everything, just get it wiped down one more time, leave it nice and clean and fresh looking. So once we've done the entire interior with our interior cleaner, now will be a great time to come back as time permits, or I should say the situation permits, is to use our interior detailer. This is another one of my favorite products because if I've got a little bit of dust, some fingerprints, or my nav screen, that's a touch screen, I'm touching it all the time, I've got some grease or oil on there, this is perfectly safe to wipe down the entire interior surface on here, whether it's a plastic surface, nav screen, vinyl, leather, center console, a couple different ways you could use it. You can mist it on and come back and chase it with your interior towel, or I can spray it onto my towel and wipe down all those surfaces accordingly. This will leave a little bit of UV protectant, which is great, so it protects it, but also it just does a little bit of cleaning, which is nice, so it's not too aggressive, okay? So this is great for maintenance on the interior. so now we've got the entire interior wiped down, it's clean, we've got all the unwanted dirt and soils out of it, and even though the interior is in great shape, we still want to come back and add some protection to this leather to keep it nice and clean and looking really sharp. So what we're going to do is, out of all of our leather products, I personally like the leather 3-in-1 for the ease of application and what it provides as far as the look and the smell, and of course the protection that it provides. So what I'll do is I'm just going to take this, and this is an application method that works really well. We've got some other options that customers can choose from. So in this case, all I need to do is just take this and apply a little bit to the surface of my towel. Okay. And I can just start really kind of anywhere, but I'll start at the top of the seat and I kind of just spread it around. I'm going to work it to all the surfaces. And the smell of this product is just unbelievable. I love it. Every time I use this in my interior on my daily driver, it smells like I just put fresh leather in there every single time. So you're going to get a little bit of like kind of a sheen to it, as you apply it. You can either just let it sit there and it'll kind of absorb on its own, or I can come back and wipe it back in if I want. And in most cases, on a leather like this, it's best to clean and both condition when the leather's warm. So the pores of the leather will open, it'll receive the cleaner better, dirts will come out more efficiently, but also when you're conditioning it, that's the most important time, is you want to get that leather nice and warm, let the pores open up, and it'll really absorb all those conditioners and keep it nice and supple. So you want to get all the nooks and crannies down into your stitching. I would even advise putting your seat back so you can get everything. So now I've got my one side that's nice and covered with my leather care product. I can fold it over, have a dry side to my towel, and I can come back and follow everything I just went over. I just want to give it a nice final wipe down. And that seat is just about done. So that one's done. We're going to go ahead and we'll do the other driver's seat, and then the back seat will be all finished. By the way, this is also a good product, not used on just leather, but you could also use it on your vinyl surfaces as well. All right, so now that everything's ready to go, we've got our paint's all clean, done. We've got our ceramic 3-in-1. Wheels and tires are clean. Tires are nice and dry. Now's the time to come back and put our tire dressing on, and the preference of choice for me is going to be our black satin. I think it's going to give it a really nice, tasteful look without being too shiny. And so I'm going to take this and just put a nice little coat right on here. Just one little application is all it's going to take. Maybe come back, get the tread just on the edges there. And I'm going to go, I'll do all four the same way. Let this sit for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Make sure there's no more water dripping out of the nooks and crannies, and this car is ready to go. All right, Andrew, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move on to our windows. We've got our window cleaner here, and we've actually got our PFM dual weave glass towel. This is a really nice towel for doing our glass. It's going to be completely streak-free when we're done. And what most people don't realize is that this little section of the glass that sits up inside the frame in some vehicles, it's something that most people never bring down just a little bit to expose that little edge. And you might pick it up on the camera, I'm not sure, but there's a little line right here that always is left neglected. And it's one of those things where you're going through a drive-through or a fast food lane and you drop your window, and there's always that little bit of edge that's tend to be neglected and left alone. So what I can do is I can either A, spray my glass, or I can spray my towel. In this case, I'm just going to go and put a little mist of the product on here. And I'm just going to take my towel, I'm going to box in or frame out my window. I'm going to get my towel right up inside that little corner of the glass. I'm going to flip it over, get to my nice smooth satin side, to my final polish. And what I like to do is on the interior of my windows, I do all my final wiping up and down. And for me, when I do the outside, I do my final wiping opposite direction. Most people do it one way or the other. Whatever works best for you. The reason for that is that way if I see a streak going in this direction or this direction, I know whether it's on the inside or the outside, and I'm not chasing that streak all the time. I have a kind of a process that I can be sure that when I'm done, the glass looks flawless. So now we're going to come back and do the outside. And then what we'll do is we'll bring the window back up into the frame, and we'll do the bottom section as well. That way we have a nice, perfectly clean window. All right, so now we put the window back up inside there. We've got it rolled up to its top position. I'm gonna come back and get this little section down here, get that nice and clean, both on the inside and the outside. And then this window is done. And we'll go ahead and do all the other ones, including the mirrors, and get everything nice and clean. All right, that looks great. Well, once again, I'm Rod Kraft with Griots Garage, and this is a wrap. No pun intended, but I can tell you right now that everything you saw us do to this car, whoever gets this and whoever won this car is going to be one lucky winner. This car looks phenomenal, and I'm really excited that we had an opportunity to come out and work with ECS Tuning. So if you guys want to see anything that we used here today, feel free to check out ECS Tuning's website. You can go to our website as well. There's a lot of major retailers that carry our products as well. So I want to thank ECS Tuning for the hospitality and for letting us work on this car. Thanks again.